Madam Secretary, you want to do the roll call, please?
Sure.
Councillor Comine here. Councillor Downer.
Here.
Councillor Lembo.
Here.
Councillor Levesque.
Here.
Councillor Zott.
Here.
Councillor Orr.
Here.
Councillor Sullivan.
Here.
Councillor Van Scoy.
Here.
Chair Cyrek.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Gentlemen, we have representatives from the Boy Scouts of Hooksett celebrating their 60th anniversary. They'll be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance for the remainder of the year. So gentlemen, please introduce yourself and then lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hi, I'm Joe Baraboo from Troop 292 of Hooksett.
And I'm Isaiah Collins from Troop 292 of Hooksett.
Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I always invite our scouts to say a few words about their merit badges, but I've been declined on every occasion, so I don't understand that. Overview of the minutes, we'll be obviously talking about the approval of the minutes. There's some items on the consent agenda. Public input for 15 minutes, nominations and appointments, scheduled appointments. Hopefully, maybe we won't need a 15-minute break. Old business includes Health Insurance Committee report, 17th Granite Street wall replacement, Charter Review Committee update, Town Hall Preservation Committee update, Coper Ave, Town Council rules, procedures, and Riggins rules. Looking for final approval on that. On the new business, recycling and transfer department purchase of 2 trucks, recycling and transfer policy, property and tax interest policy, town administrator's report, subcommittee reports, another shot at public input, and then a very brief non-public session. So approval of the minutes is the first item on the agenda. The minutes we're talking about now is the September 17th Best Boards Win workshop minutes or overview. Any additions?
No,
Yes?
I do have a correction.
Okay.
I believe on page 3, it states that Councillor Comine asked for clarification on a particular town administrator's authority, and I believe that was Mr. Lembo. I'd like to ask him to clarify that.
What page?
Page 3, midway down. I don't believe it was myself that asked for the clarification on town administrator's authority in terms of hiring and firing of town employees.
Yes, that was me.
Thank you.
Okay. Make that change up. Any other changes or corrections? All those in favor of accepting the minutes of the Best Boards Win signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. September 28, 2011 minutes as distributed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
One correction.
Okay.
I believe Ms. Van Scoy was not there.
Yep, that's been corrected.
It's been corrected. Okay.
I noticed that.
Oh, she's here now, right?
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Consent agenda. Michael?
Well, I mean, you can see what's on it. I don't know if there's any question. There's the acceptance of the donation to the Joint Loss Management Committee. Somebody's here to speak to that. If you have any questions, the bonding usage, you have to back up. The 2 road sign requests, one having to do with children to play, the other was one roadway sign, and then the acceptance of the grant from the Humanities Council.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask that the Child at Play sign just be removed for the simple, unless we can amend it a little bit. I don't believe we're going to ask that we put children at play on the sign. I believe that's just semantics, but I think there's going to be different copy on the sign.
I'm not sure if I follow you. The word children is,
I don't believe that at the end of the day that that's exactly what's going to be on the sign. So I don't know if we
I
need to
actually don't
remove it
know.
from.
Public Works Director.
if you want to remove that, then
Could we just remove it
Okay.
from council?
we don't need a motion on that, do we?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
I just had one more thing that, on that sheet, I don't know if it was a typo or what, in one sentence it says that it's going to be placed on Elmer Ave, And in another sentence, it says it's gonna be placed on Beacon Hill.
Okay, so we pulled it.
So what happens is when we remove something from the consent agenda, it means we'll bring it up at a second point, so we're not voting on that. What the consent agenda is, it says we'll take all these things that are pretty standard administrative things, and we're just going to vote on them as a whole. If there's any particular item in that agenda that you would like to talk more about, you ask for it to be removed. And
This
then
is
it-
just a
right.
typo.
And then it will be brought up later, and at that point is when we'll vote on it.
So 101A is removed from the consent agenda.
Right.
Right.
And that's the only one that's removed from the consent agenda, correct? And we have a motion?
101A would be
A. Okay, we have a motion to accept the consent agenda minus A.
And,
Jim Sullivan seconded it, I believe?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
and if we could clarify, just because we do have a new counselor here, by saying that we accept the consent agenda, we are approving all the items.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All against, same sign. Motion passes. Public input, 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know what that sign means, but I wasn't gonna bring that up.
I'm saying, I'm sorry.
Oh, in due respect to Mr. Pearl, I received an email from him today stating what he was going to discuss at public input, and I would ask the chair not to allow it under council rules G, and I will submit that to you, and you can read it into the record if you like.
This is from the Town Council Rules and Procedures G. Council members, staff, and members of the general public participating in meetings shall address all questions or remarks through the chair, confine their remarks to the merit of pending questions, and shall not engage in personalities. I understand that, I understand this clearly, I'm familiar with it. I think if Mr. Pearl wants to keep that in mind, keep his comments to 5 minutes, not engage in personalities, and only deal with those issues that we have control over. So this is not a political forum, it's a governance forum. If you have some recommendations or questions for us, we'll be glad to take receipt of your remarks. But stay away from personalities, and let's focus on the governance issues.
Thank you.
Mr. Burke.
I'd like to recount some of the events that have happened over the last 2 weeks regarding the council's information regarding the removal of the police chief.
I'm going to call that out of order. This is not a governance issue. We have no control over the actions of the police commission. It's a dead issue as far as I'm concerned. All we can do is await the results of the police commission, and we're encouraging them and hoping that they will report to us in the near future.
Excuse me, Mr. Syrick, I'm talking about the town council's actions.
The town council took no action. I released a press release or released a comment to the union leader, and that was the end of it. Thank you very much.
I am talking about the town council's.
Mr. Chair, could you put him out of order,
Yeah,
please?
you're out of order. It's done. We're not going to
No,
discuss
it's not.
anything, but yes, it's done as far as I'm
It's not
concerned.
done, Bill. You made a
Sir,
false
we're out of
statement.
order. You're out of
You made
order.
a false
You
statement.
It's done.
You're not going to hear
What do
my
we need
public
to do?
input?
Mr. Chair, if we could adjourn and have maybe the Hooksett Police Department remove him,
I hate to see us go to that point.
I do too, but you asked them a couple of times politely, we weren't gonna
I
discuss it.
asked for a vote of the council. This is out of order, Mr. Syrick. This is out of order.
I told you, we're going to restrict this to governance issues of items that we have control over. We do not have control over the issues that you're referring to.
You do not have control over your communications as the chair
I
of
guess
the
I gotta
town
remind
council.
you, in public forums, okay, this is not an opportunity to debate. We are not gonna debate these issues. You have other forums to do that. So we are not gonna debate this issue. I would ask you to remove yourself from that chair.
You have a counselor.
I will ask you to remove yourself from that chair. I do not want to resort to stronger measures, so please remove yourself from that chair.
Mr. Chairman, we have someone who has.
I'm
Yes.
sure he'll recognize me.
Yes.
So, boy, this went from looking through the reading file quickly to what's happening. can we take a step back and maybe slow down a little bit here? So it's time for public input, and my understanding is at that point, Counselor Lembo said that he knew what this gentleman was going to speak about because he sent him an email. Am I following correctly so far?
Point of order, he sent all councilors an email. I don't know if you
Okay,
received it.
I only check my email when I'm off work, so I'm trying to make sure I understand where I am at the moment. And that would be that you said that you did not think this gentleman should be allowed to speak based on this rule because you knew what he was going to say because he sent you the email. Is that correct?
Correct.
Again.
And if I may continue, could we read the council meeting G again?
Council members, staff, and members of the general public participating in meetings shall address all questions or remarks through the chair, confine their remarks to the merits of pending questions, and shall not engage in personalities. We do not have any pending questions on our agenda.
Well, no, right now is our public input. That is the question.
And
That is where we are now. That is the section of the agenda. I'm just trying to make sure I understand and make sure things are going
Right.
correctly. I don't like it when things escalate in the matter of 3 minutes to, we're going to call the police. I find that very, very disturbing in a professional setting. So, if I may continue, I'm trying to figure out exactly, from the minute it's public input, we have always at this table, rightly or wrongly, allowed the person to speak and to have their statement. If there is anything to be said back from the council, is my understanding of what should not occur, and that is the debate that should not occur. But my understanding of public input, and I guess I'd like to look more at the council rules and procedures specifically to public input. Now, I don't want to sit here and waste time all night debating whether or not this gentleman should speak or not, but having not read the comment, 3 words came out of his mouth and he was ruled out of order. I do believe that's inappropriate, and I would like to make a motion that the council vote whether or not to continue with public input or close it at this point. Thank you.
Are you making a motion to close public
Yes.
input?
I'm making a motion to continue public input and listen to, and give everybody their rightful 5 minutes to speak.
I'll second that. Discussion.
Council rules dictate, and I read them today, that public input can only go to matters pending that night. And we have nothing to do with the police commission at this time. And I was shut down at other meetings when I wanted to bring up police commission issues, and I was told we have nothing to do with it. And I want to follow up with that we have no issues with the police commission at this meeting. And we have nothing, we can't even make a decision on it. And the council rules
Can
state...
we concentrate on public
Sure,
input? I'm sorry, but
Please
we need to
address-
concentrate on public input and
address-
not the police
Address
commission.
your comments to the chair, please. This
This
is not a
is
debating
ridiculous.
situation. Please address your comments to the chair. Mr. Sullivan.
I can understand what was written into the record. My question is, regardless of whether it's this issue, if someone has an issue that's not known to us, that's not on the agenda, then no one can actually give public input. Is that correct? Just clarifying.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may. According to council rules, yes, they would have to be put on the agenda. They can speak to stuff that was brought up at other meetings, but public input states so clearly in the council rules.
Other comments? Nancy?
I tend to go with what Mr. Sullivan is, I think, saying, and that is that simple public input should be allowed to be said. I mean, there were several things that were brought up by other public people regarding a visit by the ambulance to the library, very random things, and I